Welcome to this strategic briefing. Today, we're opening the file on a really critical decade, a period that saw India completely transform its missile program from, a regional deterrent into a global strategic force. We're going to track the key systems, the major technological leaps, and the strategic thinking that drove this incredibly rapid ascent. And really, to get right to the heart of the matter, you only need to hear this one assessment. Back in April 2012, right after a historic missile test, the head of India's Defense Research and Development Organization, that's the DRDO, he didn't mince words. He said one thing: a game changer. In that single phrase, it perfectly captures the new level of strategic power that India had just unlocked.
So here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll establish a baseline with the foundational systems. Then, we'll look at how India systematically pushed to expand its strategic reach. After that, we'll get into the truly game-changer technologies that came online. And finally, we'll analyze the program's trajectory and what it all means for the bigger strategic picture.
Okay, so to really appreciate just how massive this leap forward was, we have to start at the beginning. We need to establish a baseline and look at the core capabilities that formed the bedrock of India's early deterrent force, before this period of intense acceleration really kicked off.
So these systems right here were the real workhorses of the early arsenal. You had the Prithvi 2, which was a very accurate short-range ballistic missile, used a lot in training exercises. And then, of course, you had the first couple of Agni missiles, the Agni 1, which was road mobile, and the Agni 2, which was rail mobile. These gave India a flexible and, more importantly, a survivable, nuclear-capable deterrent, all with a clear regional focus.
All right, with that foundation solidly in place, we move into the next chapter. And this period, well, it's defined by a really deliberate and methodical push to just push the boundaries. We're talking longer ranges, a much more diverse set of missile platforms, and way more advanced operational capabilities.
Now this tells a really powerful story. It's a story of rapid, systematic progression. Just look at the timeline. In 2010 alone, you've got user trials for the 700 and 2,000-kilometer systems, and the 3,500-kilometer Agni 3 is declared ready for service. Just a year later, the Agni 4 is successfully tested, and then the very next year, you get the quantum leap to the 5,000-kilometer Agni 5.
But India's strategy wasn't just about longer and longer ballistic missiles. At the very same time, they were perfecting a totally different kind of weapon, the cruise missile, with the BrahMos being the star of the show. Think about it. A ballistic missile, like the Agni, goes way up, arcing high into the upper atmosphere. A cruise missile is basically a jet-powered weapon that flies low, hugging the terrain to stay under the radar.
And the BrahMos, which was a joint venture with Russia, is an absolutely formidable weapon. Its biggest advantage is just pure speed. We're talking Mach 2.8, which is incredibly difficult to intercept. It can be launched from land,